Come to Victor. Victor, you also, I'm sure you also watched the entire process. What are your initial comments on it?
Well, my initial comments are that at least it brought out the deep insight of the Chief Justice nominee, his deep knowledge of the judiciary, his experience on the bench, and committees he has chaired. So it tells you that he has knowledge and what has to be done within the judiciary, the reforms. And you could see that he's somebody that is not about shouting. He speaks slowly, but he's deep. What he says, what he knows about the judiciary, his experience on the bench. And I think that the forward-looking reforms that he wants to make, that he can also leave a legacy leading the judiciary. For me, it is one takeaway that I had to take. Okay. And also the other thing which maybe people may not think it is so essential, but for me, it is something that we take a moral lesson out of it when he said that he had to quit his job for the sake of his wife. For the love. Not only because it is love, it is because he feels that he can sacrifice for somebody. He stood for somebody. It is a lesson that has gone through all of us, especially the young ones, that it is not always about you, but it is to sacrifice for other people, for them to be able to achieve their dreams. And that sacrifice, I'm sure, has paid off. Today, she's the Director General of Prisons. From where she started, and somebody had to be there for you, you climb on the person's shoulder to get to where you are. For me, it's a lesson that all of us, that it is not always about me or what is in need for me. That was one of the lessons. The other thing I also take away is that it is not, you can always make your point. You can make your points without invectives. You can make your points without raising your voice. You'll be heard. And the interruptions that we saw yesterday was like the majority leader was of the deep conviction, or the majority side, that maybe some of the things that are being spewed by the minority, especially the leader, his choice of words, they were going to make sure that he operates within the confines and the principles of parliamentary rules. That is what we saw. So for me, it tells me that it's not always that, your choice of language in making a point should always be key, because people were looking.
You don't think he used good language?
No, I think some of the languages that he was using, because the people were not there to be heard. They were not before Parliament when he made some of those allegations or some of the things he was saying. And they were saying that, no, go within the confines and the principles of parliamentary, the standing orders and the rules. So those are the takeaways that I think as a society we should look at. And we should imbibe in ourselves and say that no more. The last one, maybe, is that the way Parliament, we saw what happened in the 8th Parliament, happening in the 9th Parliament, I think it's becoming a blot for Parliament, that any time when it starts like this, then it ends up in fisticuffs. And whilst it ends up in fisticuffs, nobody is being punished or surcharged for that. And for me, if this continues, it lays down the grounds for some military intervention.
Military intervention?
I'm telling you, no. You see, what it is going on.
If what continues?
They were in Parliament. Let me recount in the 8th Parliament. You saw military entering the chambers. You saw the military, and you've seen during the vetting also, you saw the fisticuffs, right? You saw the challenges between, and you see now, the military intervention is not like it used to be when people are killed. Now they are endearing themselves. Example is just nearby Burkina Faso. Everybody is says Traore, Ibrahim Traore. They are happy with what he's doing. They are happy with what Niger they are doing, right? Because people feel that they are losing interest in the political elites. Democracy. They are losing interest in democracy. And if they see some of these things going on, they say, these people really, do they think about us? Are they there to pursue the agenda for the benefit of us as society? And once they compare it with people who have come, Traore and the rest, and the society is hailing them, do you think people would not also want to experiment that? You know, so for me, Parliament is such an august body that rules work there. If the top is behaving that way, how do you advise the younger ones that don't go for mob justice, don't do violence, will not solve the problem that we have to judge of? For me, the walkout and the rest is a parliamentary tool. It is their right. They have to exercise it anytime they determine they want to exercise it. It's their right. I don't have any qualms with that. But it's not what you preach that the people will emulate. People will emulate what you do. Definitely. So if your sons, sometimes we sit down, and even my son was watching yesterday, say, Daddy, these people, why are they arguing like this, right? And these are things that society is learning. And I think that Parliament itself should sit down and see that some of the things they are doing is becoming a blot on their conscience. Right. And they would always judge all.
But you generally have no problem with their exercising their rights to walk out or boycott?
No, at all. It's a parliamentary tool.
All right. Now let me come